Alright guys, so throughout this channel we have talked about DiazBiffle a lot and a lot of key things that he really does to make him a great player. So we just type up, the 5th seal, DiazBiffle. We have so many things that I have talked about as far as using his settings. I think I compared like him with Destroy in this video. I reacted to him solo quadding. I just had a lot of experience talking about DiazBiffle and a lot of the amazing things he's done, and recently it's been a huge thing to where he's actually clutched like some type of Apex tournament that he's played in. Hold on, let me pause that real quick. So there's been this thing, and I've seen that he's clutched this 1v3 in Apex Legends, a game that he doesn't play. He's always playing, Warzone, getting better at that and stuff, and then he's out here playing Apex, competing in an Apex tournament, and he clutches a 1v3 to win the game. And he's using the same exact concepts, the same exact fundamentals that he's been using in Call of Duty to be used in Apex Legends right here. And that really has to do with centering. I've talked about centering so many times. I've just beaten that into you guys over and over and over, but here is just another example of how you can use that same concept that makes sense. And this whole thing about centering too that I keep talking about over and over in Modern Warfare is 100% going to transition into Modern Warfare 2, because around all first-person shooters, the concept of centering is always the most important thing that's really going to get you a lot of kills, and all these pros just master it to the best of their ability. So if we go in right here, I'm just going to show you real quick. Actually, I'm going to show you the clip of him doing it, and then I'm going to rewind it and say exactly what or how the centering takes place here. So this is the clip right here.
Where's the other one at? Mark him, mark him.
Crazy, there's 2 people left.
Let's go!
Just ridiculous right there. But we're gonna rewind it, and I'm gonna show you exactly how he uses this centering concept right here. So we're gonna pull it to like right around here, right? I'm gonna mute it just so I can be able to talk over it. Let's just say, Down's guy right there and Aim's right there. Now I'm really gonna talk about how he uses it in this situation. He's got one knocked and he's by himself. It's a 1v3. He should be able to get destroyed really easily. And right here, he sees that this guy he's fighting is right there. So again, he's keeping his crosshair at that area at all times. He's not moving it. So when he reloads here, he pulls it back out here without even looking at the guy first. He's going to look at the player as soon as his body is visible. When his body is visible, he doesn't have his crosshair over to the right and then recenters. He recenters right before he sees the person. So once he sees them and he uses the shield as cover too, it's an automatic lock on right there. And then he doesn't get that, so he hears them down here. He's locking on before he even sees them. So imagine that you do have wall hacks, right? Like, let's just say you're wall hacking. Why are wall hackers so good at killing you? Because they know exactly where you are and they track you through the wall. So DiazBiffle here, he knows through listening and through just seeing them on the screen, he can be like, okay, I know they're exactly here because I can predict where they are, or I can listen to them, and I'm gonna have my crosshair centered through the wall before I see them. Does that right here, so he's able to get that finish right there. Eliminated. Again, he hears them coming up, so he centers right here, knocks him, and then he's even centered while he's backing away because he doesn't want to ever take his eyes off his opponent. He doesn't ever want to get shot in the back. He doesn't heal while he's running away. He heals while looking at the enemy and getting that first shot off, and then he like cuts off the visibility. Heals right here, and then once he goes up the steps, he takes out the 2 players because he's looking at them through the wall the entire time. As soon as his body is visible, he is having your crosshair on top of your body, and that's why DiazBiffle has always been a very good player, and he's always been very hard to kill, because as soon as you look at this player, he has his crosshairs on you every single time. So his crosshair, look, his crosshair's already on their body right now, already on their body. He's going up the stairs, and all he has to do is aim in because he's locked on. Boom, right there. Lifeline goes right there. Immediately locks in. They break the line of cover, the line of sight, and he's still locked in through this wall. Look at this. Look at this reticle right here. Look at it. He's locked in. He is not moving it. And then once they come out, he's still like, he's using the hipfire too. Hipfire is amazing for centering because when you're ADS'd, it's harder for you to look left and right. That's also why I talked about when I used DiazBiffle settings before. All these pros play on 0.8, 0.9. He plays on 1 because he can look left and right very fast and be able to track people very good. And then he gets this clutch right here. So that's how he was able to use this concept of centering on Apex Legends, a completely different game than Warzone. So now that I got your attention about how DiazBiffle uses this centering right here, I can teach you how you can use this centering if you do not know already, or if you have, you know, a generic idea of centering. If you're like, oh, I know what centering is and I do centering, but I didn't really get it to this extent right here, then I can show you ways that you can practice your centering, or ways that you can help understand what that centering really is. Alright, so right now I got these bots set up. I got radar constantly on, and you can practice this with any single map. It doesn't really matter. But let's just say, I don't know, I have an M4A1 right here, and I can see them on the minimap. You want to be able to center while you know exactly where they are first, before you actually practice centering when you can't see them. So I know he's here, right? And I'm going to have my crosshair pretty much locked onto his body before I see him, so that once I see him, he's dead. Over here, my crosshair's locked before I see him. Once I see him, he's dead. And make sure that when you do this, you make sure it's centered to their chest all the time. You don't want to center onto the legs. You actually don't want to center on top of their head too, because there's a higher chance that you can miss your shots when you're aiming on the top of their head right here, rather than if you were aiming at their chest level. So this guy, I'm going to aim at his chest level. Boom. Hitting all my shots. I'd rather you hit all chest shots than hit a few headshots. So you want to make sure center right to his body, right there. And it's just that simple. You know, keep your crosshair locked. And you could be thinking, oh, well, I don't have wall hacks. How am I supposed to know if people are going to be running at that exact location? And that is pretty much having very good headphones. Even like having less input delay is really good too, because let's just say you realize he's right there at the last second. Then having less input delay with overclocking your controller, or just getting a PC and monitor instead of having like an Xbox and a big TV. That also helps with the centering, and just having good game sense and knowing the most common areas. So there's many times where even like me, myself, or DiazBiffle, we know where people are hiding most of the time. We know where people are going to be at all times, the most common spots. So if a common spot is like, I don't know, in the middle, right? And he's going to the middle, I'm just going to pre-aim this, or just have my thing there the whole time. Once he comes up, I kill him right there. So knowing where the most common spots, and just keeping your crosshair through the wall. Through the wall. You don't want to do all this fancy movement where you're just like, oh, let me slide cancel out here and then shoot him, or let me just like bunny hop and then shoot him. No, you don't need to do that much movement. Just have everything centered, or like center while you're sliding. Center, slide like this, and then you aim and you shoot at the guy. It's that simple. It's that simple. But when you take this really simple concept and you practice it over and over and over, you're perfecting it. You're making sure as soon as he comes off of that corner, you were killing him every single time, making it super perfect. Then that is really how you master this concept of centering, and you really kill a lot of good players, because this, literally, as soon as they see your body, you're going to be looking at them and shooting at them at the exact same time. As soon as they see my body, wherever they are, as soon as they see my body, they're dead, or they're getting shot at. Even if they kill me, they're still going to get a lot of health taken from them, because I've been shooting at their body for so long. Alright, so right here, I'm going to use the same exact thing that I was doing, but with no constant radar. I hear him right here. I'm centering right here. Boom. Dead. This thing over here. I centered onto his body, even though he was far away. Through the wall. Through the wall. And right there, like, I have perfect accuracy. Perfect accuracy through a wall. I see that he's coming over here. Easy. I'm not doing these slide cancels, all this movement and stuff. I'm looking at him through the wall. And even right there was kind of bad, because I was in the middle of a sliding motion while exposing my body. If I slide and pop up like this, that is way better than doing a slide outward and kill him. So this is a bad example, right? If I do this. That is a bad example. You do not want to do that. And that doesn't really take good use of the centering. But like, where's he going to come from? If he pushes me, this is a good example. Because as soon as I pop out of here, I'm centered onto his body, and I'm shooting him at the exact same time. So that was really centering. That's the main reason why DiazBiffle is so good at pretty much any game he plays, especially any first-person shooter. And if you guys take this concept and practice it and just figure out how to perfect it, then you guys are going to have so much more high kill games, and you're going to play so much better than you thought you ever would.